Shutter Sound Music.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Black College Experience. I am one half of your Black College Experience team, Derek Thomas in Baton Rouge, out of the Valley, and I have on with me my wonderful, glorious co-host.
I am Diva Kills out of Southern University, and I am here in the wonderful city of Atlanta, GA.
Atlanta, Georgia, HBCU paradise.
Absolutely.
Well, it is October 15th. Friday was October the 13th. You know, everybody had their little scary movie parties this Friday. And, of course, we all know the end of the month will be Halloween, but it's a scary month of football. Scary month of football, or scary week of football across HBCU land. A lot of homecoming upsets, but you know we're gonna get in. I don't know if we want to get in that right now, but the first thing I wanted to do and talk about before we got started, Kills, was to congratulate North Carolina A&T's Hackathon team. The Hackathon is an event that's part of the Be Smart Hackathon. It had colleges from, let's see here, there was a lot, 15 schools, North Carolina A&T, Morgan State, Delaware State, Bowie State, Fisk, Tuskegee, Alabama A&M, Hampton, Prairie View, Florida A&M, Morehouse, Howard University, Johnson C. Smith, Dillard, and your Southern University, Jaguars. The Be Smart Hackathon is a competition of computer science majors. And, you know, I'm a computer science major at Valley, so this hits me to my heart. The winner was North Carolina A&T, which they won $40,000 for their team, and they're going to get a chance to study with mentors. What they had to do, they had to create an online marketplace for Toyota utilizing real-world dynamics, something that Toyota may even utilize because it's good when you have, I guess you can say, mentorships like this, because sometimes when you create something for these companies, they will use it and you will get credit for it. When I was in college, I did my internship at Clemson University, and my team, we wrote a program module that DuPont utilized in their company. So, I mean, when something like this happens and you utilizing HBCU minds in multi-million dollar businesses, that's something that I definitely want to talk about, because I was a part of that a long time ago back when I was in school. So it's just good to see something like this, Kels.
And props to North Carolina A&T. Oh, my God. They are steady rolling, steady getting it done. Not only are they doing it there with that, I mean, of course, they are 7-0. They stopped FAMU yesterday in their homecoming upset. But just to give a lineup of what we're going to do tonight on the show, we do have, of course, we always have general news, what's going on at HBCUs. We also have what's going on around each conference. In the general news, of course, we do have the HBCU band rankings. That's by ESPN and Undefeated. Of course, you know, I will give my opinion on that as you share what's going on there. Of course, we have in football, in the SWAC, Tuskegee rolls right over Jackson State, 33-7. Bama State gets their first win. Alcorn did beat Prairie View. The Central State Martyrs did roll right over Pine Bluff for their homecoming, looks like right in the very end. As you stated, the North Carolina A&T repeats as the Hackathon champ. They did spoil FAMU's homecoming. Battle of the Bay, Hampton versus Norfolk State. In the SIAC, again, domination. Albany State did win their homecoming to Morehouse, which Morehouse is still winless. And then the CIAA, Virginia State defeats Bowie in the Battle of the Unbeatens. Also on tonight's show, I know, and that's something BJ's been talking about, the Virginia schools. But one of the things, you know, this weekend was we were celebrating here Morris Brown College homecoming, and we are going to have two guests on tonight from the Crush Sports Talk, which is Maceo Hurd, played for Morris Brown College football team and also Emmanuel Glaze, and they'll be on in about 7:25. And he also ran track and played football for, for the Wolverines. So, of course, my main question is, how did it all come about? How did it disappear? And, where are they in the state now? But I did get a chance to go on campus. I got a chance to partake in their homecoming. And I have never been more touched in a homecoming in a long time outside of my own, as in celebrating with them. Really nice time. Really got a chance to talk to older alumni. I even met a guy that played, I think he said in 76 or 78 for Morris Brown. Got a chance to watch the old drum majors, as one of my friends was an old drum major there as well. Got a chance to fellowship with the kids. I mean, just really got a chance to connect with a lot of great people. And it was really a great time, just really did not, they treated me like I was actually alum. They treated me like I was a part. So it was a really good time. And I actually did run into Maceo, but it was a really great time. And one of the things that I did not know that your frat brother, Brad, shared with me, because I actually saw him yesterday, I did not understand that Fountain Hall is the highest point in Atlanta. So when you come into the city, it's the highest point that you will see in the city. It sits on the campus of Morris Brown College. And he did. He said, Keisha, you are Black college experience, and you did not know that. I've never been in that portion of the area, and I did not realize, but now I know. Very, 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 very rich history and tradition on the campus of Morris Brown College. But again, we'll get into that. Now, back to these HBCU rankings when it comes to the bands. I'll start off by saying I feel like they're very biased. And I don't care how many times Southern ranks, Jackson State ranks. I just really feel like they're biased because most of the times they really, when it comes to the band stuff, they'll look at us. But when it comes to other parts, as far as like education and things of that sort, they always look at the Spelmans, the Clarks, the Morehouses, the FAMUs. I just really feel like they're biased. But you go ahead and talk about what's going on with it.
Well, the band, it's a combination of rankings from ESPN and the Undefeated. The band rankings will be posted 4 times this season: October 12th, October 24th, November 7th, and December 5th. And we always have this talk about which band wins. And this poll, I guess, is a attempt to say which band is the best. They're only looking at bands from across the MEAC and the SWAC, and of course these bands will be represented at the Celebration Bowl. As far as awarded at the Celebration Bowl. But as far as the rankings, here it goes. The top 10 HBCU bands goes: number 1 is Bethune-Cookman, number 2 is your Jags, number 3 is North Carolina A&T, number 4 is Jackson State, number 5 is Prairie View, number 6 is Florida A&M, number 7 Alabama A&M, number 8 Norfolk State, number 9 Alabama State, and number 10 is Texas Southern. Other bands receiving votes, of course, they're not in the rankings, of course, were Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alcorn, Howard, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, Savannah State, Delaware State, Hampton University, and my Delta Devils. I'm pretty sure Alcorn, we all know the Sounds of Dynamite are proud of their band. They're not going to be happy about being left out of the top 10. They also broke down the bands by, I guess you could say, by different sections: a drum major, drill and design, musicality, percussion, and auxiliaries. Now, I'm not a band head per se, so, I wish it would have been good if we could have had somebody who was, well, you're a band head. You're a former band head. You weren't a band head in college, but you were a band head in high school. So what do you think about, these rankings? I know you think they're biased, but do you think they actually, kind of sync up with
honestly,
the reputations of the bands
I marched in the band, but I was never a band head. I never really, really got into the whole aspect of, oh my goodness, like everything is band. I was in the band. I was a percussionist, but I never, never engrossed in it that way, the way people are doing now. And I just feel like I said, the rankings are biased because, honestly, me personally, I have to listen to. I'm not saying that Bethune-Cookman is not a great band because they really are, but anytime you would rank Southern a third or a fourth, or the Jackson State a third or a fourth, I just can't see that. Not when you're getting these bands that are nationally, like on a national level. So, sometimes I think they are a bit biased, but on the flip side, I would be remiss if I did not mention today's game, Saints and Detroit. Talladega did perform. So I would be remiss if I did not announce that no matter what HBCU is, we're getting the coverage that we need in every area. And I don't care what it is, band, football, whatever it is. Proud to see that we are able to, on that, even if it's not Southern, whatever school it is, it's always great to see that our schools are getting the recognition.
Right.
Also, North Carolina Central, $16.3 million grant for research. That's a lot of money for research.
That's
a lot
awesome.
of money. Just think, 16.3. When you see those kind of numbers and you hear that kind of stuff for HBCU, that moves you into a whole nother realm.
Well,
so
it
props
lets you
to
know that that companies see the worth and value
absolutely
of an
Thank
HBCU
you.
education.
Absolutely. That's it.
Something that I saw on social media last week was a young man, a Caucasian man, and who's a lawyer. His father went to the LSU School of Law, and he went to the Southern University School of Law. And what this young man did was he broke down the difference between LSU and Southern, and the rankings and things. Is why people may choose Southern. And everyone knows LSU has a distinguished School of Law, but they only provide you full-time access to the law school. Southern provides access full-time and part-time, and that allows working mothers, working fathers, people who may not be able to afford going to school full-time, an opportunity to reach their goals. That's something that, Southern offers people to be lawyers, who can't afford or have the time to go to school full-time. And he explained the reasoning by why LSU does what they do and why Southern does what they do. Southern is looking to change the culture of creating lawyers, because if you can, let's say if I want to be a lawyer, Kels, here I am, got 2 degrees, master's and a bachelor's degree, and I decide I want to go to law school. I want to change my stars and try to be a lawyer. Well, I can't go to LSU, but I can go to Southern. Southern is creating opportunities, and it doesn't matter where you get the education. It's what you do with it when you get it. So kudos to the Southern University Law School. I just had to say that when you were bringing it up as far as what's going on at our HBCUs, because, people need to know that Southern is a very well distinguished law school, and it doesn't matter compared to LSU what they do over there. Southern is doing what they have to do to create, I guess you can say, to train the next great legal mind. And I just want to say kudos to the Southern University Law School.
Absolutely. So now moving on, what's going on in the SIAC? Central State ruins Pine Bluff homecoming. Let's talk about that game, dear.
Well, Central State didn't have any wins. Y'all have to excuse my voice. I am recovering or getting my voice back, so I'm a little scratchy. But when this game was being played, I was like, wow, Central State is going to get their first win. And that's what happened. They got their first win over Pine Bluff and spoiled homecoming. A 40-35 victory for Central State. And, it wasn't close earlier. Central State was opening a can on Pine Bluff, and Pine Bluff, fought back to get back into the game. But ultimately, Central State was able to come back, was able to hold on for the victory. I feel bad for the Lions. He lost last week to my Delta Devils, lost their homecoming. Just real feel bad for Pine Bluff.
And they were trending. They were in a place. They beat Jackson State. So, but you really can't look at that because you still have a winless Jackson State. So you really can't look at that as a place for Pine Bluff, but they did lose their homecoming to a winless Central State. So that has to be tough. Jackson State, Tuskegee, 33-7. What is really going on here? Are Jackson State, do you really believe that they're going to go 0-11 this season?
Well, they're not going to beat Southern next week, so they're not going to get a win next week. And I'm hoping my Delta Devils will be to beat up on them after y'all get through beating up on them. So I wasn't surprised at the outcome of this game. I mean, I have faith in Coach Hughes. I think that he's eventually going to right the ship at Jackson State. You know, the talent level of the Tigers was depleted 2 years on the Harold Jackson, and Coach Hughes is trying to infuse new talent in his second recruiting class. But that's what you have. You have a depleted roster infused with young, I guess you can say young, and I guess you can say untested talent. When you have young and untested talent, you don't necessarily know how they're going to perform in in-game action. And that's what Coach Hughes has on his hand. He has a depleted upperclassman roster and a young, untested talent. And when you combine those two ingredients together, it doesn't necessarily make for a successful football team. Coach Hughes has been taking a lot of flack, saying, "Oh, he's not a recruit, he's not a coach, he's just a recruiter." Well, the man's been coaching football over 30 years, and you don't stay in a profession for over 30 years without knowing something about football. Yes, I know he's never been a defensive coordinator outside of Hines Community College, but the man knows football, and I think it would be a mistake if Jackson State fires him. But we all know Jackson State and their alumni expect results. They expect a good product on the field. And Coach Hughes hasn't been able to get it done in his first 2 years. So, like I said, I wasn't surprised of the outcome of this game. Tuskegee has a long-standing winning tradition dating back to when our coach, Coach Comagee, was there. I mean, they're a winning tradition team. I mean, so Jackson State has been, I guess you could say, down in the dumps. They look at it Division II versus FCS Division 1A. So the talent level to me is not that far off when you look at Tuskegee, the FCS Division 1 level HBCUs and Division 2 HBCUs. Yes, there is a talent gap, but it's not that far. Not especially with your top tier teams. And Jackson State is no longer a top tier team in the SWAC.
You look at a team, and I say this over and over again, you look at a team like Tuskegee, and you look at them being in the top 25 poll 2 years in a row, and you look at a coach like Willie Slayton that has really, like, over 20, 25 years of coaching, college alone. And then you look at where he is and what he has grown this program to be. And then you think, you know, going into the season, we talked about this. We talked about how Tuskegee would play to win and how Tuskegee would beat Jackson State. And as the season rolled on, we see what's going on. And you get the, you know, it's their SIC good, but, you know, you have to watch more than just your conference to understand that any team, football is X's and O's, and teams compete to win. So here we see, as you said, you know, a couple of years we'll see what's going to happen with Jackson State. But right now, we see that it's just not happening. It's not going to happen this season. We can see that right now.
No, it's not. It's not going to happen this season for Jackson State. Will Coach Hughes get a chance to rebound? I guess we'll see. We want to talk about that Alcorn homecoming game?
Yeah, go ahead, and then we'll need to take a commercial break before they come on.
Well,
That's fine.
Alcorn had Prairie View on campus for homecoming. I think the last time Prairie View came to Alcorn, they spoiled the Braves' homecoming. And Prairie View, coming off a loss to Grambling, was looking to play spoiler again. They jumped up 14-0 on the Braves in the first quarter. Alcorn came back and scored 24 points in the second quarter to take command of the game. And that was your ball game. 10 points scored by Alcorn, 3 in the third quarter, 7 in the fourth quarter, and 7 more points scored by Prairie View in the fourth quarter. And your ball game was a 34-21 victory for the homecoming victory for the Braves, withstanding that 14-point outburst to start the game by Prairie View. Leading the Braves in victory was Lenore's Footman, at quarterback. He threw for 138 yards, but he was relieved by Noah Johnson, who threw for 90 yards and a touchdown. Footman ran for 50 yards and a touchdown. The Lance Turner only ran for 61 yards, but as a team, the Braves ran for 172 yards. Prairie View ran for 142 yards. Quarterback Nico Hollins threw for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns, led by Cordero Hodges, 4 catches for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that just lets you know that the Braves were not going to let Prairie View come back to the reservation and spoil another homecoming. And Alcorn now sits at 5-2, 3-0 in the SWAC. Prairie View sits at 2-4, 2-2 in the SWAC Hills.
Well, looking at this, you look at, because I think Lenore's Footman was out due to fatigue, exhaustion, and you look at where Alcorn was, and you look at where Alcorn has come and where they're going back to. This team is one of those teams that you're going to have to beat. Right now, A&M is still in the hunt, but right now it's looking really good for Fred McNair and the Alcorn Braves. Every week, Lenore's is doing something to put his team ahead. And Alcorn is one of those teams, even if they're behind, they can come back from behind, make adjustments, and do what they need to do. So congratulations to them for winning their homecoming. I want to say about 23,000 people on the campus or for homecoming. So it's a great turnout, great weather. I'm happy they had the weather to do it. This almost leads me to ask what's going on with Prairie View, as this is the second year Prairie View has been ranked as going to finish in this top, and it looks like it's going to end up being, once again, a SWAC West battle out between Southern University and Grambling. So we'll see what happens this weekend as Southern University takes on Jackson State, and as well as Alcorn and the G-Men do match up. Going to be the game. Those are 2 SWAC games of the week.
Oh, wow. Yes. I mean, that's going to be a good week of football. And my Delta Devils have homecoming that week also. We're going to be playing Virginia Lynchburg, a game which won't count in the SWAC rankings or much for anything, but hopefully we won't let Virginia Lynchburg come near to being a spoil our homecoming. But Grambling versus Alcorn, I mean, this is a rematch of last year's SWAC championship game. I'm on roll with the G-Men, Kills.
Kind of hard to determine. Anything could happen. It was a battle out in the SWAC championship between the two, but I'm going to roll with Grambling this week as well. And
do we really want to have to pick the Southern versus Jackson State game? I mean, Southern has been rolling right along.
Jackson State normally plays Southern pretty tough, but with this right now being 0-6, I'm definitely going to pick Odoms and the Southern Jaguars here. If they can keep control of the ball, it's going to get real ugly real quick.
This game will not be close. It's possible if enough fans grumble, even though I'm a staunch supporter of Coach Hughes, if Jackson State does not show any improvement in this game, which I don't think they're going to be able to stay with Southern, it's possible that Jackson State may make a move. That's just my anticipation. Just from the grumbling that I've heard from Tiger fans, there's been no improvement at all. And up next would be my Delta Devils. And if he does survive the game against Southern, and if he were to lose to the Delta Devils, my Delta Devils are known for getting coaches fired. You know all about that.
Right.
That's how y'all got Dawson Odoms. But I'm on roll with the Jaguars. It's going to be a blowout. I just don't think Jackson State has they have the talent. I just don't think that they're going to be able to handle with the Jaguars.
We got to go ahead and take a commercial break because I think they're both on now. You got to go ahead and take this commercial break.
Take this quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Black College Experience.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's gonna happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience. And I think we will have both of our guests on. So, Kels, go ahead and introduce our guests for tonight.
Well, as I said, it was Morris Brown College homecoming this week. It was a highlight of all the stuff that's going on at Morris Brown, the good, the past, the present, and what the future holds. I was connected with the two of these guys, Emmanuel and Maceo first, and then Emmanuel, through a mutual friend that went to Tennessee State. So it's wonderful how God crossed his paths. These two guys, Crush Sports, Talk, they're everywhere. I thought I was everywhere. They're everywhere, in between everywhere. Both very, very influential guys in the sports, been influential to me. But they both, again, are alums of Morris Brown College. Maceo played football. Emmanuel played football and ran track. He out there trying to do extra stuff. But I'm not going to hold it off. We're going to go ahead and bring on Maceo and Emmanuel. We appreciate you both for joining us tonight.
On the Black College Experience. We on here.
Well,
see you big time.
You see how they come on? You see how they come on?
I'm going to be quiet because my Chief just lost, so I'm going to go cry in the corner.
Yeah, go ahead and call him now. My career is complete. I can move on.
See?
So how you gentlemen doing tonight? Did you have a happy homecoming?
Made sure I had to take it up. I had some duties that came up, but Morris Brown always had a homecoming. So make sure y'all know you killed it out there, right?
Oh yeah, man. I think I'm finally recovered now. It's the sun has went down again, so I think I'm good. Now.
Yes, indeed. So take it away, Kels.
Well, of course, I guess I'll start it off. I did. First of all, I did. I ran into Maceo yesterday. We didn't get our picture, but I did run into him at homecoming. So I did. I had a good time. I had a really good time. Like, I felt like I fit in. I was like, my homecoming got rained out, but I'm gonna go celebrate with somebody. And Morris Brown is where I ended up. Really great time. I promise you would not be able to tell the things that are going on at that school if you didn't know, just by looking at all of the love, all of the friendship, it was so much love on the campus. But anyway, I'm going to start off with you, Emmanuel. Okay, so you graduated in 96.
Yep.
You ran track and you played football. Take us back down this lane with track first.
Well, when I went to Morris Brown, I went as a GDI, as they call it. Went there just to get my degree. And then I had a couple of friends say, man, you want to run track? I said, why not? I guess I did pretty good out there where the football coach, Greg Thompson, is our guy, the head football coach, started coming to some of the track meets. And eventually toward the end of the year, when I was, toward the conference championships, he came up and said, you want to play football for Morris Brown? And I said, why not? Didn't know at the time that I would need that scholarship money, but I did.
Amen.
I got to a little bit. And it went from there. My freshman year was just, me being a student and then running track. And then during my sophomore year, my first year of football, I became a part of the squad. So that's how I started. I went as a student, went to the track, and then from the track, I went to the football field. So I had a little distance in between my high school career to college.
Well,
okay. Now, I think you telling me that with the AUC and UGA, like relays, the 4x100, it looked like you won, like those accolades were in 94.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, we won AUC, and I'm going to and May still knows this, but to beat Clark and Morehouse was so sweet. I mean, when I crossed the finish line, we talked so much trash. But to then go on the University of Georgia and then beat them, we really, really talked trash then. We didn't want to leave, but we had a budget that wouldn't let us stay past dark, so we had to leave. But other than that, we had to get up out of there. But that was a great year. We were shocked that we didn't get the Nationals that year, but we had a real good team then. We had Maurice Dix, one of our friends, was at the first leg, a cornerback that played for Morris Brown. He was on that squad, and we thought we had a chance to go to the Nationals. But to go on the UGA's campus and to win, They didn't invite us back after that.
Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't.
They didn't invite us back.
Of course
after
they didn't.
I never saw it on that campus again. So after we beat them in '94, I never saw it again. So we thought that was interesting. After that,
and I mean, and I think we all know, and this is something that I keep saying. They keep scheduling, and even if you can talk about '94, that was '94, and we in 2017. We're not supposed to beat those kind of teams. I don't care what sport it is. We're not supposed to beat those people. So when you get go ahead.
I was gonna say they put us in like the 6th or 7th lane, which is like the worst lane, and we still won. And we never got an invite back the next year. I was ready to go back, but they won't let us defend our championship. So that was very interesting. The next year,
of course. So when you said, like you said, that was '94, and you look back to '94. And you have Morris Brown doing stuff like that. And you fast forward to 2017, where you have your North Carolina A&Ts, your Howards, and schools like that that's upsetting these schools. I tell them, I was like, the following year, you're not coming back. I just need y'all to know they're not going to invite you back the next year because we're not supposed to win in any sport. We're supposed to scrimmage.
Yep.
We're supposed to be building their record. So we're not supposed to go back. So when we win, it's like, wait, how do UNLV, how do you write a check and lose? That ain't how that story wasn't supposed to play out like that. That's going to be the story of life. So now going over into football, being two sports, you have track and you have football. You get over into football. And I probably wouldn't say did you like one more than the other, but how did you balance that out with both and school?
I enjoyed track more, but football paid the bill, so I had to, balance it out. It was tough. We I just knew when the season was over with, I looked forward to the track season. Luckily, I knock on wood that I never had a serious injury. My first few years, I was just a good special team player. I just helped out on special teams. I left all the ball into Mayfield then, but for the most part, we just played. We just played and did what we had to do. But back then, and you know this, everybody who goes to a black college knows this, everything is just family. It's just, even when you play track, you just had fun, and it was just good to be around people. So you look forward to those things. And it was, even though it was tough, I look back at it, I never, you just did it because it was family. And that track team was my family, and then that football team became my family. So it was always a fun time. Yes, it was tough because we still had to squeeze in school. We still graduated from Morris Brown, but it was just, you made time. You made a good effort to make sure you can do it all.
There.
You played the two sports. I mean, did you pledge a fraternity?
No, I didn't. I considered the football and track team as my fraternity, so I was like, you know what, that's enough for me right now.
Yeah.
And it was just something that we just had to make sure that we just had to make sure that it was. I didn't want to get into too much because it was just a lot going on, but once I got on both of those squads, I just treated them like my frats and kept it at that point.
And I see you met your wife, Jennifer, at Morris Brown. Talk to us about how Morris Brown helped you all come together and then end up becoming husband and wife.
Met her my junior year, sophomore year. We had mutual friends. She's from Chicago, so how you get a Chicago person and a Lincoln County person together? That's a long guess. I don't know how that happens, but it only happens at black colleges. But
that's it.
And we just kind of stuck around and just hung around each other, and we've just been married for now 20 years. We just made 20 years of marriage, and it's just what they call that black college love. We've been together ever since Morris Brown days, and it was interesting. Like I say, she's from the big city, I'm from the country, and but we all just, Morris Brown brought us together and kept us together.
Yes, Cindy, that's awesome. That is very awesome. When you have the HBCU love is that powerful love, when y'all got brought together by Morris Brown, and you have that between you, and it's like you all built a nice long marriage together.
You know what? As much as I love Morris Brown, there was a saying: if you get through it together, you're gonna stick together. some.
Right.
Much as we love our school, it was a tough time back then, but we stuck through and we graduated at the same time. I'm glad to say I took me 5 years. I proudly did it, and she took 4. So we was able to graduate together, and we walked across the stage together, and we've been together ever since. So that's what it's been about.
It's not about how long it takes. It's as long as you do it. So it's not
Yeah, as long as you get it.
It's as long as you do it.
As long as you
Maybe
get
think
it.
it's funny. It's your turn. To see you laughing, that's your turn. Let's go to you. Let's go on over to your life and your celebration. Take us back to the very first game. Because, see, they telling me, this girl said, you got to correct me, telling me that Southern won first. I said, man, look, Morris Brown played over there before the Falcons, man. I didn't make the rules. Morris Brown and the coach made the rules. Tell us about that game, man.
And it was funny because the Falcons, up until we played, the Falcons hadn't even played a preseason game in the Dome. And so we played the very first game in the Georgia Dome. I had the very first catch in the Georgia Dome, and I also had the very first penalty in the Georgia Dome. So, I mean, a little history right there in case anybody want to, write that down somewhere. But, I mean, it was just it was an unbelievable feeling because for me being from Atlanta, to watch them build the Dome, and you kind of like, okay, now we're going to get to play in it. I mean, just a great experience for HBCU kids. For all of us, I mean, it was just like we couldn't believe that we would be in the same locker rooms the NFL guys were in. So it was a big deal.
Yes, indeed. So you were 3
Then
years.
y'all went on to beat Clark, right?
We didn't win that game. We didn't win that game. Clark won the first game. We got them the next year.
Yeah, we still have to hear about that Clark. We'll talk about that first game. But anyway, go ahead, mate.
Yeah. We'll let that slide. Yeah, they got them first. They got
We'll talk about that doing game way back then.
Yeah, they got them.
So, Maceo, you were a 3-year starter, 2-time All-SIC academic team. I mean, just talk to me about, because, me being from Mississippi, I really didn't know a lot about the Atlanta HBCUs. I mean, just talk about the culture that exists, around Atlanta for HBCUs. I know you have Clark, Morris Brown, and a lot of other HBCUs. That's when Mikhail's I called it HBCU paradise. Talk about that culture that Atlanta has as far as all of the HBCUs in that one city and town.
Well, the beauty of it was the fact that every school is basically right around the corner from each other. So, when you got good weather, springtime, sundresses and sandals and the guys back in shorts and tank tops, I mean, you could hang out at Morris Brown. You can go hang out at Clark. You can go sit on the wall at Spelman. We didn't really go around Morehouse too tough. But it was just a great time. Nah. Ain't no need to go around there. It's too much guys over there. But
we okay.
It was the atmosphere was so great because you truly had HBCU love. We were able to take classes on other campuses. So I think my senior year, I had a class at Spelman, a class at Clark, and the rest of my class was at Morris Brown. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was like the only guy in my education class over at Spelman. So that was great.
Wow. So they had dual enrollment. That's awesome.
Dual enrollment. Yeah, if you had a class that you needed and your school didn't give it, you could cross over and take the same class on another campus.
Wow. That's awesome. So basically, you got the full HBCU experience from.
I got the full HBCU experience. Yes, I did. I surely did.
Took full advantage of it. That's awesome. And I mean, when you have something like that, I mean, it's good that each individual HBCU has their own identity, but to come together and be able to fellowship. Yes, you're gonna have the rivals, but being able to come together and fellowship, and share our stories. Athletically, academically, and just create memories. That's what being a student at an HBCU means. Because when I was young, I grew up on Jackson State's campus and on Tuskegee College's campus. I have so many memories as a young kid running around Tuskegee with my cousin, running around Jackson State with my older sister, and then I got a chance to blaze my own trail at Mississippi Valley State University, and it just feels so good to have those types of connections. And with you telling me this, I mean, that just makes me feel like, wow, it's good to have that type of love and that type of fellowship and togetherness between HBCUs.
It was big, and one of the things you have so many friends that I grew up in Atlanta, so all of the high schools were pretty much close together also. So you figure you take the high schools, and then a lot of people go to the colleges as well. So you have those friends, and then you meet friends. Then you get people from Detroit. Like California, had a lot of good friends from California, and you would be like, how did guys from California find out about HBCUs? And then you find out that that's all they thought about when they graduated high school. They were all coming south to Atlanta because they wanted to come to HBCUs because they watched a different world. Those things motivated them to come here.
Exactly, and everyone, every little African American kid basically watched a different world. I know I did when I was little. They made you want to go to an HBCU. When you see that on TV, you wonder if that's going to be my memory, if things are going to happen for me like that when I get to college. Am I going to meet my wife? Am I going to join a fraternity? Am I going to get a chance to play football and basketball and, things of that nature? Am I going to be able to achieve or meet the challenges that my instructors set before me? And, of course, looks like all four of us did because we all earned our degrees from our respective HBCUs.
Yes, indeed.
So,
that's right.
And that's the one thing we can all agree on. There's HBCUs, they provide something that other people won't understand. And like I said, I live by it. Sometimes you can't even explain it. I got to a point where I stopped trying to explain it because people that didn't go, they will never understand.
Never.
And no matter what we go through, no matter what we face, no matter what we come across at a HBCU, we can talk about our schools, but somebody outside of it, don't you try us. Don't try it. Don't even mention it. Don't talk about it. Don't even try to compare it. But here's I think this is my most important thing right at this moment. No more Morris Brown sports. Whichever one of y'all want to talk about Morris Brown, the state of Morris Brown right now, and when Morris Brown sports went away.
You start off, myself.
Well, it was.
Y'all know I'm emotional now before y'all start.
Well, yeah. Because it was tough to be able to. First of all, you never really get to feel how the effect of homecoming while you're playing, because you're playing in the game, and after the game, you're tired. If you won, you really still, you'll celebrate, but you don't understand what's going on until you graduate and come back and realize. So when they told us, when they were like, okay, school's going to lose accreditation, which means they're going to lose athletics, which they're going to lose money, they're going to lose buildings. It became a situation where we were like, well, what we going to do? Like, so if there's no game, how are we going to have homecoming? And that's when the spirit of Morris Brown really took hold, because it was like, okay, yeah, we don't have no game, but we still have the school. We still graduated. We're still alumni, so we're still going to have homecoming. But not to have a game, it hurts. When, people crack these little jokes, like say, I play right along with them. Who y'all playing this year? Why y'all having homecoming? I hear that from my wife every year. Why y'all having homecoming? But I'm like, you have to be around it to understand that Morris Brown was one of those schools that was there for everybody, and that's why so much love for the school.
And to piggyback off that, it's just Morris Brown was one of the few schools that was invented for us by us, and that was the motto. And it took in, there were cats that came into that school that didn't believe they can go to college, and that's what we did. So for us football players, yeah, it hurts because we won't get the proper recognition or to be able to talk it and see the games, to see kids growing up and playing and doing and carrying on that purple and black tradition that we had. But but the spirit is there. And when I wear I was just recently, I had my hat on. I was at a Dunkin' Donuts And a guy said, "You went to Brown? You went to Morris Brown?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Yeah, I went to Clark." Still that connection is there because that's who we are. I mean, like I said, graduating from Morris Brown wasn't, you at first you were like, "Man, that was tough," but now we look back at it, it was a privilege. That was our school, and I couldn't have picked a better school. That was Georgia Tech, that was Savannah State, but Morris Brown called, and I was glad to answer the call. And that's why, and it's funny, two guys from Morris Brown probably got one of the hottest sports shows in radio. I tell people about that. And I just say, look, we from Morris Brown because our spirit is different. If you think we going to, one of our high goal may still lay around, bleed a while, get up, fight some more. That was our fight some more squad. And that was our squad. So it's tough. You like to see the players and see the basketball. Our gym was, school days. Was shot in our gym. That's right. That was in our gym. The whole sorority fraternity was shot in that gym with Spike Lee. That was our gym. That was Morris Brown. That was John H. Lewis. It's not being used now. And that's the type of things that we miss because we are a part of not only history, but we're part of like college history. Like Maceo said, we're the first in the dome to play. We played, in the Bahamas. We played in California. That was a part of what we did. And it does hurt to not be able to see that,
Yes, indeed. And it's just hard to fathom that, everyone always talks about, our HBCUs closing or going away and, or losing athletic teams. And unfortunately, this happened to your school. But what's the future outlook for Morris Brown?
Well, talking to Dr. Pritchett, they have everything in place to get the accreditation back. The biggest thing right now is trying to secure buildings because through legal matters or whatever, a lot of our buildings are up for auction, where the ones that weren't burnt down or gutted. So that's going to be the thing. Once they get it back rolling, they get the finances back together, where will the students actually go? So they're in a legal fight right now with Clark over the use of buildings. So, that's going to be the biggest question once everything comes back.
Wow. So,
I always think it's a tragedy that we're letting a school that was founded in 1881 go like that. Like Maceo said, there's still a team behind us that's fighting every day to keep the door, get those doors back to where they need to be. And like you say, we're in legal fights. One of the heart-wrenching things I saw this year was our dorm, the towers got torn down. That was gut-wrenching. There was so many memories that was torn down with that, and that was a big thing for us. But, we never, like Maceo said, we're still fighting. There's still things going on to hopefully get us back to where we are. We just keep working and just keep working.
Yes, indeed.
And I think that's one of the hardest parts for me. Seeing that, because we had talked about, I started reading this about 2 years ago. And, of course you get the media, you get the news, because we're all media, so we understand, and I did. I remember a guy writing in the paper, and he was talking about it. And I had read the article, and I got to the end of the article, and I was like, it's easy to put your own spin on something and to assume, but if you really want to know the story of the school, you're in Atlanta. Ask the people what happened. Don't just assume. So going through there, I remember them sending me a video when the towers were being torn down, and I was just like, it was really heartbreaking. And I did not believe it myself till I started driving by there over and over and over again. And it's so disheartening when you drive by there. And no disrespect to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but you can look at $1 billion stadium over here. Then you can walk 5 steps across the street, and you can see stuff that's boarded up, taped up, spray paint. We can't go over here to this hall because it's broken glass, broken doors, things that are taped off, roped off. But across here, you got $1 billion stadium. I have a problem with that. I personally do.
It's sitting right in the neighborhood.
It's right in the neighborhood. So to me, you're trying to erase the history, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen.
And that's one of the reasons. It's funny. That's one of the reasons that everybody makes the effort to, like, you know, we're gonna have homecoming. We're not gonna let them forget that this institution was here, and we're not going nowhere. So we're gonna still celebrate, regardless of what's going on, because you can't break the school spirit. Again, This is the only school that was founded by blacks for blacks, and I think people always forget that a lot of other schools were they started out white, then the whites moved on, and like, okay, y'all can have this because we're gonna go get bigger and better. I mean, it's just something that always has to be remembered.
Well, I know the next time I come to Atlanta, I'm gonna have to definitely, visit the campus, to get some history myself, because I've only been to Atlanta a few times, but I never got a chance to really, I was always passing through, so I never actually got a chance to visit the campuses. But the next time I come up that way, I'm definitely gonna make sure I come and visit. I'm definitely gonna hit up my co-host Kels, let her know I'm in town, so we can
no doubt
can show me around, because last time I was in Atlanta, I got lost. So can't let that happen again. But I mean, it's just
pretty much like everybody else.
Well, and then I'm a history person. And the thing is, with me being a history person, I feel like I'm missing out on history, because y'all probably gonna make fun of me. Yes, I heard of Morris Brown growing up, but one of the first things I ever saw of Morris Brown was on Drumline.
Drumline.
That's what I know Morris Brown. Oh man, they had I know all HBCUs had awesome bands, but I mean, with me being from Mississippi and not really being in the Atlanta area, I didn't necessarily connect with it like I should have. But knowing that this school is the history that's behind this school, listen to you gentlemen talk. I mean, for me not to have a chance to visit that campus and see it, and when it was in its heyday, I mean, I feel robbed.
Yeah, we didn't want to brag, but it's just I posted a concert ticket that Maceo still get mad at me about, but it was for Ice Cube.
There they go.
I saw that.
And we threw the best homecoming concerts ever every year, because people would line up from Tech everywhere because they knew Morris Brown was gonna bring. I mean, Outkast, when they was getting hot, we came. It was just Luke came up. It was just our parties were just like our homecomings were monumental, and that was the thing. And it was just Morris Brown, who they got? Oh, they got Ice Cube. How they get Ice Cube? Some California guys that y'all didn't want to know back in the day. They wanted to let into school. Well, they came to Morris Brown and they connected with Q, and that was the beauty of it. I mean, you can meet kids. I mean, we had a strong population from Africa to the Bahamas to California, all over the country that came to Morris Brown, and it was just, once you got there, it was love. You know what I'm saying? And it was no, it was like the football team mixed with this group and everybody. It was a big, and I wish people understood that. It's just like some people, the school was just there. It was just a black school. It wasn't just a black school. People enjoyed life at that school. That school brought life to kids. It gave kids who didn't even know they could do things opportunities. And that's what it was all about. That's why I say when they start closing these HBCUs, they feel like they closing another 10 kids out of school. And that's why I'm more. And that's why it's important that when you see our show, make sure it's got on Morris Brown versus everybody. We just y'all gonna keep asking about that Morris Brown, because that's where we from. And that's what we're going to keep doing, because that experience was like no other.
Right.
And for me, I was one of those guys that the beauty of Morris Brown for me, I was one of those guys, I didn't even sign on National Signing Day because I was worried about all of these other offers from quote-unquote bigger schools. But Greg Thompson called my high school coach and my principal, and he was like, look, tell Maceo Hurd, if he wants a scholarship, tell him I will be by the school in the morning to sign him. And once they told me that, I was like, here I am waiting on to hear from Florida State, to hear from Georgia, to hear from Georgia Tech. And here go a guy who's telling me, listen, I'll come sign you tomorrow. You don't have to worry about no money. Free education.
Yes.
Hey,
indeed.
I'm with it. Came signed me that morning, and I would forever be grateful to Greg Thompson for doing it, because he didn't have to do that, but he did it for me. and I love him for that always.
So, guys, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your sports radio show. What do y'all do in the community there, and things of that nature.
The Crush Sports Talk. We on. It's fun. Let me give you a quick funny backdrop. I was doing a show with another friend on another station, and I was pretty much at the end of it. Wasn't doing what I wanted, and this fool, a wide out, called me. Some wide out, make sure, I guess that's his name. Hey, man, let me come on. And, from there, it's been, so we came on and we got together. And, we had the Mars Brown Connection teammates. And we then moved on to the Sensation Station Network now, where we're doing 3 shows a week, Monday through Wednesday. And from there, we're from 8 to 10. And then from there, we broken some other things. We been on rapstation.com, and now we're with rollingout.com. We do a show there every other Thursday. And the purpose of the show is that we want to do it differently.
Right.
You have an opportunity to listen to any other show, but you got a chance to listen to some guys who, what we pride ourselves on, we've coached, we've played, so we really take to heart. When we talk to kids and go to certain schools and high schools and talk to these kids, really care about them going to that next level. And that's some of the things we do. We involved with a lot of community projects, and we're just keep it fire, keep it going. And that's our biggest thing is when you listen to us, you can tell that these are 2 guys who really want to bring sports the right way. They played the game, they've been in the game, but they also want to make sure that the sports are transferred over to the kids and give them opportunities that we have and tell them things that they may not know. That's the biggest thing.
Right. So it's kind of like you all want to also become mentors to the future also. And you can use your platform to, I guess you can inspire the next great athlete to attend an HBCU, to attend Morris Brown when Morris Brown comes back, because I have a feeling Morris Brown will come back with alumni like you two. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot more alumni want to, bring Morris Brown back to his former glory. So, when you have alumni like yourselves who are a part of the community, it's great to see, because, just because your school is going through some tough time, that don't stop the love. That doesn't stop your desire from sharing your journey, what an HBCU meant to you, because it can come back. It's like a flower. It's like a seed. You plant it. You know what I'm saying? Morris Brown was a blooming flower. Well, that flower kind of wilted a little bit. Well, you want to get that flower back, you got to plant that seed. You got to feed it. You got to water it. You got to give it sunshine. And it'll be back just like it was, maybe even better than it was back then when you guys were there. So, and I know you guys will definitely be happy for that, to be a part of bringing Morris Brown back to his former glory. And for someone like me who missed out on seeing Morris Brown in his heyday, because I never got to see a Freaknik. Yeah, I know. I should have brought my butt to Atlanta. I never ever went. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, I mean, I was a bookworm. I was a nerd. I listened to rap music, but I wasn't finna spend a lot of money to make that trip. But I should have. I would have had some awesome HBCU memories had I done that. So,
you might have stayed. You
might have
stayed if you came.
I mean,
it might have been
I
good.
went to South Carolina. I didn't want to leave, so.
What is Freaknik? What is Freaknik?
Yeah, we don't know about that term.
Has the statute of limitations
those
up on
awesome
that shit?
rap concerts that you all had back in the 90s.
Memory clouded. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all know.
Listen, I'm so glad there wasn't no Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram during that time. You could have fun and be free.
Woo!
None of those pictures will ever come to surface.
Posting at the moment, it was just living life.
Yeah.
All you got is Polaroid pictures that most people can't find anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's good that it's not happening anymore. So if it happened again, of course, everything will be live on TV, no privacy. But the bigger picture is that Morris Brown is able to revitalize itself. And I definitely think, the future here is bright. Like you said, your administration is working to secure accreditation and secure buildings. And I just can't wait to see Morris Brown come back.
Let's do it.
So, but
Now, I do. I have another question before. It's right there where he's talking about the accreditation, because I got a chance. I was talking to, like I said, a guy that I think he said he played football there, either 76 or 78. So yeah, that's a little bit dated, but I did get a chance to talk to him. Before we
You was
go,
in the
talk
mix.
about, huh?
I said you was in the mix. I was.
I was
was
talking
getting
to
it.
everybody. And this is
You
the
was
funny
getting it.
thing. I was walking by, and this man wasn't even talking to me. And he was talking to some other guy. He was like, yeah, I played for 76, and y'all, no lie, I walked backwards, stopped, and looked at him. I said, wait, what year did you play? He wasn't even talking to me. I stopped, I talked, got his phone number, we exchanged information. I was like, okay, we're going to get you on next. He wasn't even talking to me. But he was talking to me after that. It had nothing to do with me, but I wanted to find out. So now, you talk about, you guys played under what coach?
Well, I played under one coach, Greg Thompson. Then Glaze last year, he was able to play under the great leadership of what was that dude named Glaze? Why you gonna go there? Joe Redman. I played with Joe Redman. Why you gonna go there? He won at other schools.
Talk about your legendary coach, man.
This guy, once I got away from the game, I realized what he was up against as an HBCU coach. He was the reason that I got into education and that I got into coaching. And what I realized being away from the game is he just didn't have enough help. He was the only full-time coach on the staff. So, and he was the athletic director, so he had to juggle AD and head coaching duties. And we probably had, maybe 6 or 7 part-time. I had more coaches in high school than I did in college. Yeah. So for the job that he did to make sure we stayed eligible, to make sure we took great road trips, to make sure we had housing on these road trips and kept us fed and kept us in school and made us and allowed us to graduate, the guy did a phenomenal job. He was working with nothing. Watching film by itself, breaking it down offensively and defensively, because the defensive coaches and the other offensive coaches didn't come to the school till it was time to go to practice.
Yeah. He was one of the guys, man. Coach Greg was, at the time we thought he was just not giving us certain things. It was kind of like you didn't know what your mama and them were going through until you became one. And then, for him to take in kids and to try to make it work, there was a reason why me and make sure when we said we got the opportunity, we was bringing him on our show. It was no doubt. Because we just had to thank him for what he did for us. Again, I was, and side story, I tell Macy this all the time. I was pretty much out of school because you don't take a guy who went from 3,000, a town of 3,000, and moved him to Atlanta and think nothing gonna happen. I lost my mind when I got to Atlanta, and if it was for him, I might have not have been at Morris Brown. So everything I've accomplished in life, from getting a degree to finding my wife to everything, is because he gave me a shot. And he will always be someone that would always be dear to me. And every time I see him, I hug him and thank him and just have a good time with him. And Coach Greg Thompson he's one of those guys that he got it. He understood it, and he worked hard. Him being from Morris by himself, that made it even more special to him, to try to do what he could to make that school special. And he put a lot of time and effort in that, and it's just one of those things. I wish I'd have completed my career under him, but things happen. And unfortunately, I did get 3 years with him, and I always feel special about that.
Yes, indeed. Well, gentlemen, we want to thank you all for calling in to Black College Experience. You're family now, so that means you don't need an invitation to call in. Anytime you guys want to call in and talk HBCU sports, feel free. You're family. You're no longer guests. So that's what happens when you become a guest for the first time. You become family. And family, you can just come on over, grab your piece of chicken, some drink, and just come on over and talk some HBCU sports with us. And because I actually was on y'all's show with Kels when she was on, so I got a chance to be a part of the Crush show. I just loved y'all platform. Right. Y'all seem like y'all just had a lot of fun, and we try to have that fun environment too. So feel free to call in anytime.
Well, you come to Atlanta, you got to stop by. We don't want no excuses, all right?
Will do. I will definitely do that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Right. Keep up the good work, y'all. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys, and we'll talk soon. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Kels, those were some interesting stories from those two gentlemen.
You will never, ever, ever, I tell people, the stories that people from Morris Brown can tell you is so interesting. And I feel like I have now been adopted into Morris Brown because after the weekend, it was such a great time. So it was.
Right. And it's just hearing them, I know in some of our social media circles, we always make jokes about, oh, you should be closed, this and this. You know what? We should stop those types of jokes because we don't want any of our institutions to close. Yes, Morris Brown is still operating in some capacity, but no football team, no band. I mean, all you have left is your school spirit. So, you know, we don't want to see any more of our HBCU institutions get to this point. So you won't see me tolerating any closure jokes, from anyone because we love all of our HBCUs, even though we're all different. Even though we all have different mascots, different fight songs, we are all interconnected because we are HBCUs. That stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. So we need to always remember that.
That's true. But looks like we are at the end of the show. It has been a great show. It has been a memorable show.
Right.
Coming up this week. Oh, before we go, I want to make mention because it looks like, of course, other sports, we are focusing, we are set in football, but coming up next week, looks like we do have track and field coach coming from Southern University, Coach Darton. Of course, following that, we're looking at volleyball coach, and this is coming out of Alabama State. I need everybody to know, if you're not watching volleyball, please start tuning into volleyball across all HBCU conferences. These women are dominating in every conference. Alabama State they are on a 30-streak conference win. 30 wins in a conference. They did fall to Alabama the other day, but that was Thursday. But prior to, they have beaten 5 PWIs this season. So please make sure you tune in to all sports because these ladies are out here dominating in soccer, volleyball, softball, tennis, track. They are doing what they need to do. So that's our show. Again, make sure y'all tune in next week. Our games of the week in the SWAC will be Southern and Jackson State. And then, of course, Alcorn and Grambling. And then, of course, on the website, you find us and we'll have the other games of the week coming up. What else you got, dear?
That's all I have, Kels. You all have a good night. Check us out next Sunday.
All right, good night.
All right.
Good night.
Three.